Some of you are exhausted because you are not living your life. You are living under rules you never agreed to, rules your past gave you, rules your family put on you, rules your fear keeps enforcing. And the worst part is, you do not even call them rules anymore. You call them being responsible. You call them being realistic. You call them just how life is. But deep down you know the truth. You are not free. You wake up tired before the day even starts. You walk into rooms already performing, already measuring, already wondering if you are enough. You say yes when your soul is screaming no. You stay quiet when something inside you wants to speak. You carry pressure you never questioned because somewhere along the way, you started believing pain was proof you were doing life right. But not all pressure is discipline. Some pressure is bondage. And a lot of men do not need more motivation. They need freedom from the invisible prison they have been calling maturity. There is a kind of man who looks disciplined on the outside, but is dying on the inside. He shows up, he works, he pays bills, he answers messages, he keeps everything moving. But inside, he is carrying a weight that no one sees. Not because life asked him to carry it, because he never stopped to ask who put it there. Maybe it started when you were young. Maybe someone made you feel like rest was laziness. Maybe every time you failed, people treated you like failure was your identity. Maybe love in your life always came with conditions. Do more, earn more, do not complain, do not need anything, do not break, do not disappoint anybody. So you learned how to survive by performing, and now you are grown, but you still live like you are on trial. That is the trap. You can escape poverty and still be trapped. You can get older and still be trapped. You can have a family, a job, and a body that keeps moving and still be trapped inside rules written by fear. You tell yourself, I cannot slow down. I cannot start over. I cannot be honest. I cannot leave these people. I cannot change this late. I cannot become someone different. But listen closely. Who told you that? Who told you that one bad season defines the rest of your life? Who told you you have to keep proving yourself to people who only respected you when you were useful? Who told you rest makes you weak? Who told you that being a man means carrying everything alone until you collapse? Who told you that discipline means hating yourself into progress? Because that is not discipline. That is punishment wearing a disciplined man's clothes. Real discipline builds you. Fake discipline beats you down and calls the bruises character. Real responsibility makes you stronger. Fake responsibility makes you everyone's servant and nobody's priority. Real growth gives you direction. Fake growth keeps you chasing approval from people who would not cross the street to help you rebuild. And this is where a lot of men lose themselves, not in one dramatic fall, but in 1,000 quiet agreements. You agree to stay silent. You agree to keep the peace. You agree to abandon your standards. You agree to remain around people who drain you. You agree to keep chasing a life that does not even feel like yours. Then one day you look in the mirror and wonder why your face looks familiar, but your spirit feels like a stranger. That is what invisible rules do. They do not always destroy you loudly. They just slowly make you betray yourself until betrayal feels normal. And if you are not careful, you will spend the next 10 years being loyal to a version of life that is quietly killing the man you were supposed to become. I want you to think about the rules you live by. Not the ones you say out loud, the ones running in the background. The rule that says you have to be perfect before you start. The rule that says you are too far behind. The rule that says if people do not approve, you must be wrong. The rule that says because you failed before, you should not try again. The rule that says because nobody clapped for you, your progress does not count. The rule that says you have to keep carrying people who keep cutting holes in your peace. Those rules are not wisdom. They are wounds that learned how to sound mature. And every man rebuilding his life has to face this question. Am I living by truth, or am I living by fear dressed up as truth? Because the wrong rules will make you hate the very life you are trying to improve. You will turn self-improvement into self-attack. You will turn discipline into self-disgust. You will turn ambition into anxiety. You will turn responsibility into resentment. You will turn success into another prison. And then even when you win, you still will not feel free, because the man inside you was never rebuilt. He was only managed. You do not need to become reckless to become free. This is not permission to abandon your family. This is not permission to quit every hard thing. This is not permission to blame everybody and take no responsibility. No, freedom is not escaping responsibility. Freedom is finally choosing the right responsibilities. The responsibilities that make you a stronger man, a cleaner man, a steadier man, a more honest man, a man with standards, a man with peace, a man who can say, "That is not mine to carry anymore." That sentence will save some of you. That is not mine to carry anymore. Not every expectation deserves your obedience. Not every voice deserves access. Not every tradition deserves loyalty. Not every relationship deserves another chance. Not every burden is noble. Not every sacrifice is love. Sometimes you are not being patient. You are being afraid. Sometimes you are not being humble. You are being passive. Sometimes you are not being loyal. You are refusing to admit that the circle you are protecting is the same circle that keeps you weak. So here is where the rebuild starts. You stop asking, "What will people think?" and you start asking, "What is this costing me? What is this rule costing your peace? What is this fear costing your future? What is this circle costing your discipline? What is this habit costing your family? What is this silence costing your self-respect? What is this version of you costing the man you were supposed to become?" Because everything has a price. Comfort has a price. Approval has a price. Avoidance has a price. Fake peace has a price. Staying the same has a price. And some of you are paying for acceptance with your identity. You are paying for comfort with your calling. You are paying for temporary peace with long-term regret. And that bill is coming. It comes when you are alone at night and cannot explain why you feel empty. It comes when your kids need a version of you that you never built. It comes when your wife looks at you and feels your absence even while you are in the room. It comes when your body starts breaking from stress you pretended was strength. It comes when you realize you were busy your whole life but not obedient to your own deeper truth. That moment is brutal, because no man wants to admit he helped build the cage he now hates. But that admission is where power begins. You are not weak because you got trapped. You are responsible if you choose to stay trapped after you see the door. And the door is not complicated. It is not easy, but it is simple. You start questioning what has been controlling you. You write down the rules you have been living by. I have to please everyone. I cannot fail. I must always be available. I am only valuable when I am useful. I cannot rest. I cannot change. I have to keep pretending I am okay. Then you look at each one and ask, is this true, or is this just pain talking? Is this discipline, or is this fear? Is this responsibility, or is this control? Is this loyalty, or is this self-abandonment? That is how a man starts getting free. Not by screaming to the world, by telling himself the truth in a room where nobody can interrupt him. Then you build new rules. Not soft rules, strong ones. I do not abandon myself to keep people comfortable. I do not call burnout ambition. I do not confuse guilt with guidance. I do not stay loyal to people who are committed to my weakness. I do not punish myself and call it discipline. I do not let my past write laws over my future. I do not wait until life falls apart before I become honest. And most importantly, I do not measure my worth by how much pain I can silently carry. That one matters, because too many men think being strong means never being affected. No, strength is not pretending the weight is light. Strength is finally learning which weight belongs to you. Some of you have been carrying shame that should have been confronted years ago. Some of you have been carrying guilt for mistakes you already learned from. Some of you have been carrying other people's opinions like they are instructions. Some of you have been carrying the voice of a father, a mother, an ex, a friend, a boss, a culture, a past version of yourself. And you keep wondering why you cannot move faster. Brother, you are trying to run while dragging a prison behind you. Put it down. Not all at once, not perfectly, not for applause, but today, put something down. Put down the need to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. Put down the habit of explaining your growth to people addicted to your old self. Put down the belief that you are too late. Put down the shame that says you are disqualified. Put down the rule that says you have to earn the right to become a better man. You are allowed to rebuild, but you are not allowed to keep lying to yourself. And this is where a man changes. Not when life gets easier, when he stops bowing to every voice that made him smaller, when he stops calling fear wisdom, when he stops confusing pressure with purpose, when he stops living like his past has the final vote. That is the moment the old rules start losing power, and a new man begins to stand up. Not a perfect man, a free man, a man who can work without worshiping work, a man who can rest without guilt, a man who can love without losing himself, a man who can lead without needing control, a man who can fail without becoming the failure, a man who can grow without hating who he used to be. That is the man you are trying to become, and he will not appear by accident. You have to choose him, one honest decision at a time, one boundary at a time, one disciplined morning at a time, one hard conversation at a time, one refusal at a time, one new standard at a time. So ask yourself tonight, what rule has been running my life without my permission? And what would change if I stopped obeying it? Because the cage may be old, but the door is open. And the man you were meant to become is not waiting for permission. He is waiting for you to stop living like a prisoner.